part 2 of multi-touch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a basic full screen multi-touch game. Now this does have some limitations. You can't overlap these actors too far or they'll switch positions with this methodology. But it'll get you started in the right direction with multi-touch, get you working with it a little more and getting you to understand a couple of ways that we can do it. We're going to do something kind of similar to what we did last time, and other than we're going to use some greater than and less than operators to kind of confine the area of the touches and to designate, like we did last time, to allow the computer to kind of tell us when the touches are confined to the particular area of the actor. So we've got, let's just drag a couple of guys on here. We've got Pucky, who is our PNI's mascot for our latest game that we're working on. So we've got a couple of Pucky here. Let's just drag him on. And there's Pucky. All right, let's go in here, and I just want to flip Pucky around horizontally. And there we go. We've got Pucky flipped horizontally, and we've got Pucky as movable, and we should want to make sure that we select fixed rotation because we don't want him kind of spinning around and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Pucky attacking here, and we're going to create a couple rules. And our first one, we're going to do similar to what we did last time. We're going to name this one Touch 1. And we're going to go in and we're going to do when actor receives event, touch is pressed, which you should understand that from our last video tutorial. And then we're going to address 4 different particular attributes. Now, as we are going to look, let's go ahead and look at Pucky here. We're going to look at Pucky's size. And let's get that. And we see that Pucky's width is 318 and his height is 344. So what we want to do is we want to divide Pucky in half because as you know in Game Salad, touches when the mouse condition or actor is touch goes to the direct center of the actor. So what we're going to do is we want to know when the touches are in anywhere within Pucky. And so the reason why we're going to need to use 4 attributes is because in both the X and Y positions, you'll go up half the distance will be positive, and on the other side of from center and X, half the distance will be negative. In the same way with Y and X, they're positive and negatives off center opposite each other. So we need to address both those things so that we can tell that a particular touch is in the area. So we're gonna basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna say when attribute touch 1. I'm going to start with the X. Is less than half of Pucky's distance, so it'll be 150. Oh, boy, I'm horrible at numbers. Let's just divide Pucky in half. Let's bring up the calculator here. This is 318 divided by 2. So 159. So 159 for Pucky on the X position. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm messing this up here. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we've got when it's less than, game touch 1 is less than Pucky's self position X plus $159. All right, so when the touch 1 is in the area of Pucky's self position plus 159. That's going to give us 1/2 of Pucky going on the X position. So let's go ahead and do the other positive number, which is going to be Pucky's Y position. So we're going to go attribute, game, devices, touches, touch 1, Y is less than Pucky's self position Y. And let's figure out Pucky's height is 344, so that should be pretty easy for me to do. 150, 160, 172. So we're going to be plus 172. So this is going to tell us if a touch is in the positive direction of 1/2 of Pucky on the Y. If it's in that area, touch 1, it's going to know it, and so touch has to be pressed. So we know that these are part of the conditions, okay? So if you touch anywhere else, so we know that if Pucky is touched, we know if the touch is in this area. That's the first condition we have to get by. So now we know he's pressed. That's just a condition. It has nothing to do with the game touches, okay? And then we're going to go to game touch 1, and we're going to say if game touch 1, if the first touch is on the positive side of Pucky, okay, then it will allow us to do that. If the touch is on this side of Pucky in this area, we'll let it go. And so now we got to fill in the rest of Pucky with 2 more attributes, and these are going to be in the opposite conditions. So we're going to say when attribute game devices touches touch 1 X is greater than Pucky's self position X minus 159. That's the other half of Pucky. And one more for the other half of his Y position. So another attribute. Game devices touches touch 1 Y greater than Pucky's self position Y minus 172. All right, so now we're going to go over to our behaviors, and we're going to get a couple of constraint attributes just like we did last time. And I'll just duplicate this option key and drag, and on the Macintosh, the option key is always duplicate in all applications. So we're going to go ahead and constrain a couple attributes here. Oh, it added one. Sorry about that. My game salad's running kind of slow when I screen record. And so we're going to go ahead and constrain Pucky's position X to game device touches touch 1 X. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do the same for his Y position as well. And then we're going to go ahead and affix that to the touch Y. And so now when we touch inside Pucky, we're going to see that I just want to save this. We're going to see that we can grab Pucky and we can move him around, and it's going to go to 1. So let's just preview Pucky in attack mode, and there's Pucky, and we've got him, and he's moving around. It's just a little laggy because I'm screen recording. So, but you can see Pucky moves around. We've got Pucky going good there for the one touch. So now basically what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this rule. So I can grab the Option key and I can go down and drag it. That way I don't have to rebuild it all. And there we go. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to edit this a little bit, because basically it's the same rules, and we're just going to change a few of the conditions. So we're just going to rename this touch 2. And we're going to go ahead and we can go into these attributes here, and we can just change it from touch 1 to touch 2. And then we're going to change Pucky's Y position here to touch 2. And then we're going to go ahead and change this one. And the last one in this area. So now this is going to just flip things around when touch 2 is in these areas, just like we did with the split screen last time. When touch is in these areas within the confines of Pucky, it's going to allow us to constrain to the position. So it's going to go down and change this to touch 2, because now we're going to constrain Pucky to the mouse 2 position or touch 2 position. So let's go ahead and do that. Touch 2X. And touch 2Y. And so there we have it. That's setting up multi-touch again for 2 actors to be able to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this and then we'll come back. I'm going to recode Pucky, the other Pucky defense. Same code. It's the same exact code. You can copy and paste this same code into your other actor like we did last time. You don't have to change anything, unlike last time with the operators. It's the exact same code because it only relates to the actor itself. So when the actor is pressed, when your finger's on the actor and your finger is within the confines of that touch is within these areas that we've specified of Pucky, these positions on Pucky, his self position, then he'll be constrained to either touch 1 or touch 2, depending on which one he gets. Okay, so they'll know, and it'll hand it off. Now the limitations with this, as you'll see in the video when I record the video of me with the iPad and showing you, is that if you get too close to these actors, they'll swap positions. And this is one of the limitations that you have with this kind of multi-touch. But it's a good way to get started. It's a good way to work it out and start working with multi-touch, and there are some workarounds you can do and to kind of get this all working. But this is a basic multi-touch system where these guys aren't going to be limited to one side of the screen. You can drag them all around the screen. Don't forget to use the basic drag and drop methodology that's in the video, as well as we're constraining the mouse. So the mouse positions override collisions, certain kinds of collisions, especially with walls and such. So you want to make sure that you deal with that as well in this, if you don't want them to be dragged off the screen and you need them to be restricted into a certain area. So this is pretty much how you do a full screen multi-touch with 2 actors. And you could actually add into this. You could actually add in a touch 3 as well to this. Now the problem there again is when you start dragging actors over each other. So you could keep adding to this, just like I did. Just change the game touch to 3 and this area to 3. Just basically you're going to change these things and you're going to adjust the size, basically the size of your actor. But you could keep going with this and try it out and see what kind of results, and maybe do some interlocks or whatever, getting it to work. But this is another basic kind of way to do multi-touch. And I'm gonna just turn the video off now, and then I'm gonna record me showing you it working on the iPad, and then you'll be all set to go. All right, we'll see you in a moment. All right, so here we are, we're back, and I'm mirroring my iPad on this screen, and I've copied the rules over from one pucky to the other, same rules as we did before. And so now we're gonna go ahead, and there I've got pucky with the first touch, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the second touch on screen, and there we are, pucky's battling. And you can see how we're doing multi-touch here. You can move them, pretty much all the way around the screen. Well, pretty much you can move them all the way around the screen. But here's what happens. If I get too close to the center, you see pucky switches. That's one of the issues with this type of multi-touch. You can get, close. You could build some kind of offset constraints in there. And like I said, working with multi-touch is difficult. It involves, knowing a lot of other game solid tricks to be able to make it work with some of this stuff. But you can make it work. You can do some basic multi-touch stuff. And that's how you do it. And thanks to Pucky for helping me demonstrate this. And hope this helps you out. And this is going to be, for now, my last part on multi-touch. If you have any questions, just post them on the forums or send me something in my inbox to Frying Bacon Studios, and I'll see if I can help you. All right. See you in the next video, and I'll take requests for videos as well. And we'll see you then. Bye-bye.